Oh no, welcome to Grandad's allotment. So it's the 22nd of July today. I'm back on the allotment just to water really. I've had 3 weeks off, 2 weeks on holiday, and then I came back watered, but I've done nothing to the allotment. We've had some torrential rain this last week or so and incredible heat. So everything's gone mad, and I've got quite a job on my hands. I'll show you what I've got to be getting up to. Right, let's just start at the bottom end. As you can see, everything's gone mad. Weeds everywhere. This was all trimmed and clean just before I left. In here, believe it or not, is asparagus, which I planted in between all the weeds, so I'm going to have to do all of that. The straw bale veg. Potatoes look as though they're doing okay. Got a canny little tomato on there. The sweet corn is grown. It's not massive, but hey ho. Across there, everything's just gone to seed. Was pak choi and stuff that I put in before I went away, but you can just see the weeds. The Japanese wine berries, they've taken over. They're filling with fruit, which is good. This is the comfrey, which is spreading and taking over, but this was pak choi, which I put in. The chard's doing all right. I'm all right with that. So just got to go through the beds. Beans are picking up, dwarf beans. In here we've got some more Swiss chard. It's doing all right. I know it's beetroot, golden beetroot by the looks of it. And I think in the middle there's some, in the middle there's some still area. So they're not doing too bad. These beds were my garlic. They're all coming out. Obviously some wildflowers in there. Rosemary is just taking over again. I think it's going to come out soon when I get a chance. In the greenhouse, grapes are taking over again. They need trimming back. Tomatoes are doing okay. They're a bit limp. I mean, I've watered them today. They've not been watered for a week, but they'll recover. I mean, that one's a bit worse for wear, but the grapes are doing all right, fattening up. Looks like got a blackbird in on that one. I stripped it a bit, but never mind. Yeah, this is all needs to come out again. Turnip on the straw bale veg. So yeah, turnips can grow in straw bales, but they've gone off to seed. A couple of green beans on there. Damson tree, got no damsons. But the apple tree, that's a Spartan apple, is absolutely chocker. Cherries, not any this year, unless the birds haven't had how much they probably have. Gooseberries, gone over now, but I know when my son was over watering, he took a load away. Conference pears, filling up, and again more apples. Going to be a good crop of apples this year, but all that top growth needs to come off. So it's a job for pruning the apples. In here, bit of a jungle, but again, the tomatoes are doing okay. All got good fruit on them. Nothing ripening as of yet, but good tomatoes. Got a little cucumber down there. Chilies, a couple of chilies ripening up. Them ones could have done with potting on. still got my cabbage to go out and kale. But yeah, these ones in here, the bindweed is taking over the ground again, so that all needs to come out. But the tomatoes are doing all right. I think there's about 20 different varieties of tomatoes in here, so these are, they might look as though they're a bit of a mess, but these are current varieties, so that you don't have to prune out the suckers and stuff. They're scrambling, so that's why they're looking like they are. That's my excuse anyway. Now, I was in here before and there was a blackbird. That's why I've got all the doors open. Let's go outside. You can see the weeds again taking over. All my first earlies have sort of finished now. I have had a couple of bucketfuls, but I'll do a reveal on them shortly. I'm not going to get across there, but the black currants, there's absolutely hundreds on there. They desperately need. Oh, so I'm getting one of the trees there. They desperately need picking. And this little bit in here, again, bit of a jungle. Everything needs strewing back, and I'm going to put the cabbages and comfrey and stuff in here. This is the outdoor grape. It has got lots and lots of grapes on. First time this year we're getting a good crop on this. Probably too many, needs thinning out. But that's a job for another day. But you can see how much shade it's given over this bit. It's quite cool in here. These are my main crop potatoes, so not be long before I start harvesting them, or at least I'll cut the combs off and cover them up. Right, so I've watered today. My plan is to come tomorrow before work with the strimmer and get it all knocked back. So I'll show you what happens tomorrow. Right, I'm back on the allotment. It's the 31st of July today. I'm just sitting having a cuppa. I've been strimming all morning. It's about a week later than I started this video. I didn't get a chance to come along because it rained during the week, but I've trimmed the garden right back, started doing a bit weeding, a bit harvesting, so I'll show you what I'm up to. Right, as you can see, I've been strimming. I've been up on the roof harvesting some black currants. I'll show you them in a minute. But yeah, all trimmed. Just got it to sort of rake back up, but I'm going to wait till it dries a bit. I've been harvesting a bit of beetroot, some golden beetroot there. Yeah, cleared out the grapevine in there. I seem to be growing mushrooms again in this straw bale veg. All my turnips have gone to seed in there. I've got rid of, this was full of comfrey. I'd sort of sprouted up from those are my two comfrey beds, and I don't know if you believe it, but they're sealed boxes, but the comfrey's now spread underground and into these beds. So that's relieved a bit of pressure off my Swiss chard. That'll be able to grow a bit. The Japanese wine berries, they're coming on. I would say probably another week or so before I'll be able to start and harvest those. There's some ready there now, but I like them, you know, when they're all ready and I can do them all in one go. I've tamed the loganberry and tayberry a little bit. That's where I got my golden beetroot from. I've got a few green beans in there which I can harvest. I've just cleared this bed, which will probably put some cabbage or something in there. That bed's still got to be cleared. That's just weeds and wildflowers. It has got my garlic in, which has gone to seed, so it'll just be getting pulled out. This strawberry bed is definitely coming out. I've got something to replace that, and I'll do that on a separate video. You can see how much I've pulled. That's predominantly grapevine. See what I've done along here into the greenhouse. Pears and apples are doing great. So in the greenhouse, this area might look fairly the same. I've got some decent tomatoes coming on. Just having a slurp. I've got a big one on here, I noticed before. See that? Decent sized super tomato. Yeah, so I'm starting to get some here, but what I have done, you can see, is I've stripped out the fig. So canny bit to get rid of there. I'm going to let it dry a little bit, because when you cut figs, I don't know if you can see on there, but it releases like a white sap. It's like a latex and it can't burn you, so I'm going to let it dry and probably take that out next week and chop it up a bit more. But yeah, the tomatoes are coming on. I haven't thinned out the tomatoes at all, because they are heirloom tomatoes, and a lot of them aren't cordon type tomatoes, they're bush tomatoes, so you just leave the suckers on and let them go. These ones here, which are Mexican wild cherry, the tomatoes will not get much bigger than that. They're like sort of currant grape size. But I have got some starting to ripen up in there, you can see. So I'll crack on with that. These are desperate to get out, but I'm clearing the bed, so we'll get there. These are my main crop potatoes. They're still, leave them another week or so. I have cleared some of these to fill the compost bay, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to harvest a couple of potatoes. Grapes in here are doing well. Obviously they're a lot further behind the ones in the greenhouse, but I've got a few, and this is the first year it's actually given us grapes, so I'm not too worried about it. But it's got a good canopy, which I'm happy about, so that's developing well. I've harvested all of the blueberries. I don't know if you can see in there, but there's a few up the top there. Blueberries grow on old wood, so what you can do is just chop off, and saves you pruning at the same time, chop off that old wood where the fruit is, harvest the fruit, and then you know that all this new wood is going to be next year's fruit. So it's two in one basically. It harvests your fruit and it prunes it for next year. So there was a big branch going across that side, so I've taken all of that out, and this is all be new fresh wood for next year, which I'll tie in. Yeah, so I've filled all of this with it's mainly comfrey, to be honest, and nettles. So I'm going to stack my potatoes back on top of there, let that rot down. But I am going to harvest a couple of potatoes, so I'll stick these on the tripod and I'll have a look. Right, I'm at the other side of the greenhouse, so you can see how much I've taken off that fig. That's it down there. I'll just show you what I've harvested. So a lot of black currants and blackberries. So I've got, you know, a canny bit there, which I'll take home, freeze, and then it'll end up in jam. Right, let's go and harvest these potatoes. Right, these are the first earlies. They were Lady Crystal. I planted these I want to say it was after Easter. It's fairly late. Right, I'm just going to tip these into the barrel and I'll show you what I've got. Right, like I say, these are the Lady Crystal. First earlies. You can see already. Looking pretty good. This is just plain old used spent compost with a bit of extra bloodfish and bone added when I planted them. If you go back to when I planted the potatoes, you'll see what I put in with them, but it's nothing special. The soil, it's just plain old used stuff that I've had, you know, from the tomatoes before, you know, the previous years, in my raised beds, compost I've made. I'm getting all the little bits as well. I'll use this compost again next year. I eventually got up to about 20 pots this year, and if you want to buy compost for that, you know, it's quite expensive. You know, relatively for to grow some potatoes. You know, it can be quite an expensive thing to do when you're considering the price of potatoes, you know, at the supermarkets. But you know, there's nothing better than a homegrown potato. These are 30-litre buckets. They're the Garland buckets. Done nothing special to them. Watered them when they first got put in to the buckets. More or less left them. We've had some really hot baking weather, which you can see. I mean, the soil is bone dry. So it's dead easy to grow potatoes. Even if it's just one bucket, you can do it in a builder's bucket. One potato in a builder's bucket and you'll get a harvest. That's about it. There's always one more. You can see it is that dry, it's actually got wood lice in it. Oh, some of that. That's because when I made my raised beds, I put wood in the bottom, like a hugelculture bed. There you go. That's not bad, probably, I don't know, pound and a half of potatoes out of one bucket. I think there was three seed potatoes in each bucket. Right, I'll crack on and do some more. Right, there you go. That's first 4 buckets of potatoes harvested. So 2 bags from 4 buckets. The potatoes, they were Lady Crystal. They were from Budget Seeds, and I got my order, so definitely be doing Lady Crystal again next year. That's not bad at all. The other ones that are in there are still growing at the back. They're Sharps Express. They're my second earlies. So I think I've got 4 buckets of them to do. But as I say, they've still got green foliage. These are dyed back. So That's my first early's harvested. I've already had another 2 buckets harvested already. But yeah, first early's done. Time to crack on. Finish me tea. Right, that'll do for today. I've accomplished what I needed to do. I've done my strimming. I've done a bit of harvesting of potatoes and beetroot, some cherry currants and black currants and stuff like that. So I've done what I need to achieve. I'll come back probably tomorrow or day after and do the watering. I only watered yesterday, so this should be all right for the minute. Right, I'm going to head home, get some dinner and make some jam. Right, see you on the next one. Catch you later.